Hey, everybody. All right, welcome to the October book discussion. So this month we are talking about science and science fiction. So two great subjects that are both enormous, enormous. We could not possibly touch on even the tiniest bit of all of these. So we're going to touch on just the tiniest bit today, just to make sure you have some idea of the books that would be available to you here at the library. So our first one is called Hegoland, Making Sense of the Quantum Revolution. I might be pronouncing that wrong. Sorry. This author is obviously Italian, but he's actually Italian when he reads the books. And I've listened to these. He has two out that are sort of a popular view of physics, astrophysics, the big picture of how it all works. He has a really great accent, and for me, I don't know, I felt like it kind of gave me a little bit of extra insight into the book. So I don't know, it wasn't related to physics, but it's sort of nice to know who is writing the book, who is sharing it with you. So if you're just looking for kind of a popular view of science, I'm not a physicist, and I thought it was really helpful. So check that out, plus very short. Okay, our next one. This is Dying of Whiteness, How the Politics of Racial Resentment is Killing America's Heartland. So that doesn't sound like science, right? It definitely does sound like science. Science is not just sitting in a lab with your beakers and your Bunsen burners and making things happen in a totally objective way. That's good, but science is also about how it's applied and how you use science to develop good policies. Science has not always been used to develop good policies. And of course, we see the effects of that in, just systemic racial bias, racial practice that have happened throughout time. Hopefully we're getting better, but reading about it, making sure you understand, it's the best way to get better. All right. Let's move to a nice fiction book. This is Hoot. It's one of my favorite authors, Carl Hyacin. So Carl Hyacin is a Florida writer. He talks about being one of those very rare people, a Florida-born native. So he was a newspaper columnist and investigative journalist, did a lot of really interesting things, plus has written a lot of very interesting dark humor, I would say, books for adults. And then, as so many of us do, he got older, mellowed out, and now he's writing children's books. They still really much focus a lot on the environment. Very interesting. I feel like, it's not, the point is not that kids or you reading it, because I've read it, the point is not that you learn the specifics of how the ecosystem works and the names and definitions of everything, but sort of how one kid or one group of kids approaches an environmental issue that's relevant to them and to their lives. And obviously, they say you're borrowing the environment, nature from your kids. So I think it's good to hear what kids have to say. He's not a kid, but he's writing about them. All right, let's stay with the theme of science fiction. This one we don't have a cover for, but this is Prodigy by Marie Liu. So this is part of I think it's just two books, and I think we may have both of them in the collection. This is not exactly a YA, but yeah, almost a YA, basically a YA. I really enjoy her work. Again, sort of set out in space, interesting. Yeah, you're not going to go wrong if what you like is sort of a fun space opera-ish in your science fiction. On that, of course, Andy Weir, unbelievably popular. I know you've heard of him, but despite the fact that he's unbelievably popular, I actually still think his books are good. That's not always the case. Hi, James Patterson. But he, of course, was most famous for writing in The Martian, which is one of those rare books that I thought the book was great. If you like a lot of fussy process details, Andy Weir is your guy. The movie with Matt Damon made from it, I also thought was really great. So, I like the movies, I like books, but they're not always equally good. And in this case, though, I did think that they were equally good. So this one is Project Hail Mary. Yeah, this guy who's on the spaceship, he wakes up, and this is a fairly common trope, I feel like. He's got no idea who he is. He doesn't know what's happening. He doesn't know what's going on, but of course disaster looms, and he's got to figure it all out and make it work. I hardly feel like I'm spoiling it all to tell you that pretty much works out. Otherwise, you can't have your main character die. That would be no fun. I guess, except for George R.R. Martin, who loves to do things like that. Let's switch back to our nonfiction world. This is 30-Second Anatomy, the 50 most important structures and systems in the human body, each explained in half a minute. Love that. Okay, now, of course, we have a lot of students here who are working on their A&P classes, and different kinds of nursing, different kinds of medical fields. Just a quick explanation. You can see, even if you can't read all the words perfectly, you can see nice diagrams over here, quick explanation over here. This is not going to be the heavily in-depth material that's going to totally ace your biology test, but this is going to help you to study for things like that, because it's just going to give you a quick an overview. It's going to let you sort of see, okay, that's what I thought. All right, this is that. This system over here, it's that. Having charts, having diagrams, having things easily laid out, and they're in a nice order here too. Not alphabetical, but that's okay. I'm a librarian. I like things in alphabetical order, but put together in a way that anatomically will make sense to you. So come over, check that out. We have a bunch of other very basic kind of supplementary books on anatomy, physiology, because it's tough. I mean, there's just no getting around it. You have a lot of memorization to do, a lot of learning to do. The library can help you out. All right, so let's end this on a nice, positive, happy note. Look at this, Minnesota's natural heritage. So as I record this, of course, this is October. It's fall outside. It actually kind of looks like this outside today. I love books with lots of, big coffee table pictures. The wolves, I don't know if these are the ones that are living up on in the Voyagers, but Voyager National Park. This is the northern coniferous forest. They have the tall grass prairie. Wow, that doesn't look good at all. Masses of duckweed that is looks like it's doing nothing good for this pond. It looks just like a pond by my house, although it's probably lots of ponds around Minnesota. So lots of interesting things. This is not just a picture book, although there are beautiful pictures. Here's more of the northern coniferous forest. I mean, it's hard to go wrong with those pictures. So not just a picture book, not just beautiful, but I mean, a lot of actual facts. So if what you want to do is maybe curl up on a cold winter day here coming up and flip through some lovely pictures, admire this beautiful state that we're in, and maybe pick up a little scientific ecological learning. Whether you're in one of our environmental science programs or not, it's still available to you. Definitely come by, grab that book, grab any of these. And as I said at the top, so many books. We're not even beginning to touch on them. We're not even beginning to touch on all the subjects, everything that's possible. It's here in the library. So I am Mary. I am your librarian. Please come by anytime. Talk to me. I will help you to find the right book, the right article, the right material that you need. And yeah, you should come and enjoy the library always. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.